because we just drift, and we don't drift anywhere good. You follow the current, and where's the current going? The current is going to divorce. If you look at the stats of 2025, it used to be 50-50 and it's not anymore. You have to be intentional to stay together.
Your life can crumble very quickly when your marriage is falling apart.
The wedding industry for one day is huge.
Right.
But is there a marriage industry?
Yeah. Oof.
They're like, that's not even a thing.
Bars right there. What would you say to that couple that says, I don't need to invest in my marriage. We're good. Our marriage is good. Do you realize how many things you invest into every single day? When it comes to your crypto or your stocks, you're checking that every single day, hoping that it goes parabolic. When it comes to even your lawn, if there's one weed in your lawn, you're going out there and you're taking that thing out right away. When it comes to your fitness, you hit the gym, you're looking at the scale, you're checking your macros. Every day you're dialed in. But when was the last time that you checked in on your marriage? I'm Ben, and I'm with my beautiful wife, Kristen. And years ago, we built a construction company up to 6 figures. We hit a super rough spot in business. And because we didn't have any guardrails up, we lost our business and almost lost our marriage. Well, fast forward to multiple years of investing into ourselves, not just with our time, but also with our money, into multiple marriage conferences. We came back stronger than ever, bulletproof. And now we've built a new construction company up to 7 figures. Today, we really want to, let's say, bring to light or shine the light, if you will, on the importance of investing into your marriage. I think it was probably years, multiple years before we both even realized that we should actually value marriage, and not just like, I guess you could always say like value marriage of like you put a ring on it. Now we're husband and wife and we're in the same house and we have kids and I love you, you love me. But that's like so surface level when it comes to actually valuing marriage and valuing your spouse. And it did take far too long, multiple years before we even realized the importance of it, and even like, I guess, the biblical principle behind marriage. So I was raised in church my literal whole life, and you can say born in church. So some of those people say I was that, and been to multiple conferences and church services and never really heard anything about marriage. I mean, very, very surface level stuff. And even getting married, like kind of just like, this is kind of what we're supposed to do, was kind of the thought process. And we had so many issues that we just didn't know that we were supposed to either unpack or even talk about. And as they kind of just kept building and building, and then the next thing you know, it just kind of imploded. When we first started having issues, I guess it wasn't like that.
No air quotes.
No air quotes needed. They were issues. Yeah. What was your thought? Like, where should we go? Like, what should we do?
The first time I remember thinking we were in crisis, or kind of like realizing that, actually, was when we lived in the apartment. Things were real rough. And we had like a fight. And I wasn't big on like storming out, but for whatever reason, this one time I was like, I can't be here anymore. We lived in a tiny apartment. We were broke. I was pregnant. I don't even remember what it was about, to be honest with you, but I just was in this, I have to go. And I don't even think I went anywhere. I maybe went and sat in the car. I did not get far, but then I came back inside, and I just remember we sat down and started to have a conversation about it. And you made the comment, something about that you weren't happy, hadn't been happy, but you knew because you were raised in church, but you're not supposed to get divorced. So like, now what? What are you supposed to do? And I just remember you even saying that word shocked me. And the fact that you said that word, that had been a thought in your mind or even a consideration, like it blindsided me. And I just remember being like shaken to my core that you were even considering that.
Wow.
As I'm here pregnant, and we're trying to figure out this life together, and our story is so messy before that. And in the midst of all this was messy and all of that. And so I just remember being like, what would I do if he left me? It was just like literal crisis mode. And so kind of speaking to like what you had seen growing up not in church, I had no frame of reference really other than just my parents, and my parents were still together. I didn't come from a divorced home, so I didn't see that directly, but I had my best friend's parents were divorced. And I remember having sleepovers at her house, and we'd either sleep at her mom's house or we'd sleep at her dad's house, depending on the night. And I remember seeing the difference in their lifestyles just because of that, and not envying that situation at all. She had to pack a bag to go stay with her dad. And I don't know, I just remember like noting mentally that it was really complicated, and not envying her being in that situation, but not really knowing more than that. And so as far as marriage goes, I feel like there's so much emphasis in the world of just the buildup is the wedding. It's like you dream of the wedding day and now you make your Pinterest board. We didn't have that back when we were planning. I mean, really, it was like just kind of starting to be a thing. But I just remember it was all about that. Find the guy. What kind of dress would I want to wear? Where would I want to? Those were the fantasies. It was never about married life. I never fantasized about being a wife. I never really fantasized about being a mom even. But I fantasized about a wedding. And so I feel like in the world, there's just so much emphasis on that day and the big day. We invest and spend all the money on the day. And then what happens after the day, it goes by. Like now you're married, you're living with this person, ideally for the rest of your life. And so and I mean, we lived together before we were married. So we did a lot of stuff kind of out of order. And you had a son from your previous marriage. I had messy past relationships. So like we both had a lot of relationship baggage that we came in with that we were damaged, like broken people when we met. And we met at midnight in a dark nightclub. So it wasn't like a dreamy story anyway. So we were just a mess when we met already. And then you put two super broken people together and try to build anything healthy. That's not how that works, you know? Right. So like we were kind of doomed from the beginning if we didn't intentionally change something. Right. So I think that was just the beginnings of, we were trying to build on a rocky foundation already. It's like trying to build on the sand, you know, and it's any wind blows, that thing's going to crumble.
There's a lot of wind.
There's a lot of wind.
But that's a really interesting thought when you say like the big day. And you think about the thousands and thousands of dollars that are spent on the wedding day, the months or years of planning, and you do the honeymoon thing and the little honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
You spend all this money and invest all this money. I guess now as we're older and we have businesses, we talk about like investing, and you're like, man, like how much money is invested into a marriage? Like, I mean, not the marriage, but just the wedding.
Yeah. That industry is huge.
Yeah.
The wedding industry for one day is huge.
Right.
But is there a marriage industry?
Yeah. Oof.
They're like, that's not even a thing.
Bars right there.
That's not even a thing.
I mean, we're trying to do
and yet that's the rest of your life. The wedding's one day. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully for us, we were too broke to go big on a wedding anyway. So it's not like we have regrets on how we did it, but
you have a lot of regrets on that.
We went to Vegas and eloped. It was not romantic. There's a lot of tragic stories woven into that. But yeah, like, so we didn't have that regret as far as like we blew a bunch of money on the wedding.
Yeah.
But it's like we didn't invest. We just didn't even know what was coming. And so looking now, it's like people that do premarital counseling, that's so smart.
But even so then smart. Too, because it's great, but you still got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like, if you're not honest, I think it's like, if you're not honest with yourself and you're not honest with like where you currently are in like your walk, like in this world, like you're going to have issues, and they're going to show up in your marriage.
Yeah.
Like a marriage is like, there's no hiding nothing. Because I should say, you could hide it for a little bit, but eventually your little dark secrets is going to come out.
Yeah.
And whatever those issues are, like, it's just magnified. And then you throw joint bills, kids, Like it,
work stress,
business stress,
in-laws, like family dynamics. Yeah.
The holidays.
Where are we going for Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Who gets us?
The whole
the arm
thing.
wrestling.
There is so like you are doomed. Like literally, if you think about it like that way, right? Because you could be listening and like, well, yeah, I got all kinds of stuff and I did this and that, and it's like, are we supposed to have like confessions with my future spouse to let them know everything that I did? Like, no. Oh, maybe not. Like, maybe you should talk about some things, but man, if you don't like deal with like your heart, your inner self before you get married, it's you. I would encourage you, if you're listening to this and you have not gotten married yet. Good job for listening to this podcast, but like you have time to like get the healing you need, get things fixed up. But for the people that are already in it, and so
there's no turning back.
There's no turning back, because we truly believe that there is no divorce. Now you're
in covenant.
Now I want to say you are, you set the greatest example in this, because when I acted a fool, it was like from your mouth, like, we're not getting a divorce. Like, we're going to make it work. So we had our first construction business and had a huge job that went south in a hurry, lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And just like, it all kind of like was like that earlier thought of like it all implodes eventually.
Yeah.
It's what it all, because like life is good when you're kind of making good money. Like when you start making good money, and like money can kind of hide things for a little bit. But then once things like it doesn't, when it's not there anymore, or something big happens, then like everything else kind of like shows back up.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't leave. It's just like you just kind of bury it under the rug or shove it in that closet for a little bit. And all of a sudden that closet door like busts off the hinges, or that rug's like so big that you can't like you can't like, deny it anymore, you know?
So you took on a bad client, a job you never should have done, but it was a big job. So it was shiny.
I never should have done. Hey there, we hope you are enjoying this conversation. But hey, we had a quick question for you. Right now, currently, who is in your corner for your marriage? One thing we know about the top athletes, the top business owners, the top leaders, is that they all can't do it without the support.
That's right. And when it comes to a couple in business, it's the same way. Imagine what it could be like, even if you're not in crisis. Maybe everything's going great, but imagine what it could be like to have a couple in your corner, encouraging you and making sure you guys stay aligned as you continue down your path together.
Or maybe you are in crisis mode and you have no idea where to even start. Well, we can help you with that too.
There is going to be a link in the description below. You can click that link and you can go ahead and book a discovery call with us. We would love to get to know you, hear your story, and see if we might be a good fit to help you on your path moving forward.
Let's get back into this conversation.
Well, there were legal things. I think it was just your own
probably wasn't
legal
ready.
rights. You didn't have the counsel that you needed going into it. And then these big guys took advantage of you. And then you got stuck fulfilling this thing. And it cost us tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
So, and months. It was months long to finish this thing. And so the amount of strain that put on our marriage was, and it was kind of semi-long distance because it was like an hour away. So you were driving, an hour and a half every single day. Or you'd stay out. Did you stay out there?
Yeah.
So then you got the distance thing. You've got the I'm home alone with the kid, with little babies at home, and money problems now. What you were facing every day, what I was facing at home, bill collectors, So it just amplified, the money problems amplified everything else. And the fact that we didn't know how to communicate in a healthy way, we didn't know how to support each other in a healthy way. There's a lot of pride involved, a lot of selfishness involved, a lot of it triggered a lot of past fears and insecurities, I think on both ends in different ways. It was a lot. So it was like in that one situation,
just every single thing,
every broken thing inside each of us was like on full display and operating. And we did not have the tools or know how to deal with it or even recognize it. So we were like hanging on by a thread at that point.
But going back to that thought, so when it all just was literally blowing up in our face and it felt like we had no hope. And obviously made things harder too. But you were just like, we're not getting a divorce. We're not doing that. And there was just something inside of you. I don't know what. It's love for me, maybe. I don't know. Like glimmer of hope.
Glimmer of hope. I think it was twofold. The first thing was I was at home with our children, and that was my day. And I just remember picturing them growing up in a broken household. So kind of like what I told you, what I witnessed from my best friend growing up. And I was just kind of thinking, and we already had, you already had a son from a previous marriage. Like we were already a blended family at that point. And just kind of navigating that situation, which that's a whole other conversation. But I just was picturing that with now my daughter, like a daughter I birthed, and picturing, and then a son, and just kind of picturing them and having to, I think it was the split household. That's what I kind of pictured. Like, what would that even look like? Well, that means I'd have to pack their bags and like take them to you and then say goodbye for a certain amount of time. And that broke me. And I just remember like not only what that would do to me, but then what does that look like for them? And I just was picturing a broken home and a broken household and what that does for our specific children's future. And what I had seen from other people, what I'd heard from other people, their stories, and just, I did not want that for our kids. And I remember even if you and I can't ever romantically get back on the same page, like my children will not grow up in a broken home. It was like this inner determination. Like there was part of that. That was probably what led everything. And then also I got deep in my Bible and was like, what are the promises of God? What are some scriptures? Like, where's hope in this situation? Can God fix this? What should I be doing in this situation? And I really that's where my personal spiritual walk with God deepened to like such a greater level, because I stopped all these expectations I had from you, all these areas I felt like you were letting me down. I learned to shift my attention and go to God for those things, for security, for hope, for purpose, for a future, and like what I should be doing. And in that process, I found so much hope that like not only could we make it, but we could actually have a thriving marriage. Like he could fix me. Because he started to, he started to work on those insecurities in me, because there were things triggered from my childhood about like money issues. And, there's just things like from my family growing up and little moments and experiences that I had, that this moment was kind of triggering fears in me about that. And like God was showing me those things. And so then he started to kind of work in my heart on the things I needed to fix. And then how should I be talking to you? How should I be? Because, things we've kind of like shared in other episodes, we've touched on like the depths of these stories, but just how I'm at home being face to face with like the debt collectors. And so I would put the pressure on you because I was barely seeing you with how much you were gone for work, trying to finish this job literally from hell, get this done. So I was barely seeing you, but I have all these debt collectors. I was the one paying the bills. So when you'd finally walk in and I'm like, hey, can we pay this bill? Hey, can we pay this bill? And then you're face to face with the money issues and associating me with that. And so now my face brings stress because all I'm talking about is money problems. And it's like, he was teaching me like, hold off on that. Maybe say hello first. Don't greet him with the pink envelope that came in the mail today. And so it was just so much of like him working in my heart and then seeing that if he can do that for me, he can do that for you. And I learned to start praying for you in a way that was actually going to make a difference. Not me trying to like voodoo doll you and like change you how I wanted you to be, but how does God want you to be? And I was starting to actually see change. And so it was those two things of like, we can make it. God has a bigger picture for marriage and we can make it. And it's actually really beautiful when you look at how broken two people can be and what God can do in them. And so I was just filled with like so much hope. So it was obviously like a several year journey and I'm still learning a lot. This is like a never ending thing of just how God reveals his plan he created marriage, like he wants us, he knew what this was going to be. He knew who we were when we came together. He knows what we need to fix, and he knows he can do it as long as we like keep him in the middle. So
Yeah. I think the greatest thing of all time in this whole process of, I feel like you praying for me was huge, obviously. And then us starting to go and invest into these marriage conferences, which we did it for like 5 years in a row, right?
yeah,
Or something like that. Yeah. And then obviously all the things that we can continue to do.
and we flew away. I
Yeah,
mean, we
flew
spent like
away.
real money.
But I think it was so fast forward. I'll go back to that. So let me reverse engineer this. So today, like right now, today, I love you more than the first night that I saw you in that
That hazy
dark,
nightclub.
dark little club.
I would hope so.
Well, that's not necessarily true for everybody.
Yeah.
But like, so my love for you has grown like more, and then we've grown more tight knit together. And now, like when I see you, whether I've been away for work or with business or golfing or whatever it is, like when I come back and see you, like my love for you is like, it's like, it's hard to explain and put this into words, but like it's my love for you is like so fierce, you can say. And just like when I see you and like when we're at church or wherever we're at, like when I get to see you again, and it's like, oh, my love for you is so deep. So like
It's been tested.
yeah, and I guess but that grows every day. So before, not reverse engineering this, right? So before that wasn't the case. It was, when you first had our daughter, and then you had the body changes, and you were like all the ashamed. I guess you would say that, right? Like you were like insecure and all that. So
Well,
then
and
it's like
hormonal, which is a whole
and then
thing.
you were just like pushing me away. So then I was like, whatever, you know. So, and obviously that's a terrible way, but like because I didn't realize like the value that I was supposed to have you as my wife, how I was supposed to look at you. And so then when we went to those marriage conferences and then learning that how I'm supposed to look at you, how am I supposed to treat you? And like you can say it because like you can, people say whatever, oh yeah, you're supposed to love your wife. Well, yeah. Saying it and doing it are two different things, but to walk it out every single day as well too is a whole different story. And I think we can easily say stuff and we can like blow over it. And maybe you're like, people are like in a season where, things might be okay. But so you don't take the time and the value and you don't see the value in your spouse because everything's okay. But if you don't look at your spouse every day and see the value, that eventually that like kind of like diminishes. And then to where it's like, then something happens and it's like, you're easier to snap or you're easier to be angry or you're easier to just like blow them off because you're not intentionally seeing the value in that person. And I think it kind of that goes back to the very beginning of what this conversation of like what you invest into, you check on it daily, quarterly, monthly, weekly, because we invest into so many things in this world. Like we're invested, whether it's even just your sports team, like the roster, the injury update, like what the coach said in the locker room, like it doesn't matter what it is. Like we can get so invested, but like when it comes to your marriage, when is the last time that you even checked in? Like you might check in as in like our business is doing this and now, yeah, look, this quarter's going to be great. And okay, this Christmas, now we're going to go to Cabo and grandma's coming and what? Okay. That's good checking in, but but heart to heart, like connection. When's the last time that you've done that? And I think it's a great, not I think, I believe it's a great opportunity to do like the yearly getaways, quarterly getaway. I mean, whatever you can, at whatever rhythm you can like create. just to get away and connect and like reconnect with your spouse.
Well, because in your season of life, right? Like we're constantly changing. So like you said, how I was when we met, how we both were when we met. And then fast forward to pregnant and now like, my first time ever having a baby and then all the hormonal changes and body changes. And that was a crazy whirlwind for me. And I felt so lost and confused and overwhelmed and scared. And that was just a really overwhelming season of life. And so as you're speaking to like, and it was me in the midst of all that, when you had that comment about like, well, I guess we can't get divorced, that just threw me as another thing now that I'm overwhelmed by. And because you didn't know to support me in that way. And I didn't even know I needed support in that way. And so in that season, how beautiful would it have been if we checked in with each other? Hey, how are you feeling? What are you needing from me right now? Is there an area I can help you more? How can I serve you? And I think it's like operating in your marriage in a way that's to serve the other person rather than always looking out for what you need. And so even in that season, it's like, well, my physical needs aren't, sexually aren't being met, or like whatever you might have been thinking, but then also what I'm thinking. Cause I'm like, well, I could use some more help with the baby who's screaming all the time, or those kinds of things. So it's just checking in as your kids grow. Now, maybe they're all in school. And so you have more alone time during the day. Well, that brings a different set of needs or realizations. Or as your kids are nearing graduating and they're going to be out of the house, empty nesters, that's going to bring up a whole series of emotions and challenges. Or as someone retires, like no matter what phase of life you're in, we're changing constantly. I mean, we're living in a very complicated world right now. A lot of crazy world events right now in 2025 that we filmed this, politically, economically, all of that, and then just in season of life, family members and aging parents and aging family members and those dynamics. Like we all respond to those situations differently, and we all internalize things differently, process things differently. And if we're not communicating with one another, we have no idea where each other's at. So if someone feels like they're getting testy all the time, or they're irritable, or they're more on edge or defensive or something, like maybe there's something going on in their heart that you haven't asked what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something keeping them up at night because there's these thoughts or these fears they're dealing with. Well, have you asked them what's going on? Have you asked them how they're handling a certain situation or how things are going? Like I think so much of it can be solved with communication.
What's a good one to like check to see where you're at? I just thought of this.
What?
I'm not trying to throw anybody.
Oh, brother.
I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but you got it. This is a good one. So.
I'm scared.
Why?
I don't know.
When like we need to go golfing, and then or if you need like a golf trip or like a little golf course a little bit further out, and you need to get the wife's permission, but then they don't ask. And they just like really avoid it. It's like talking to your parent or your mom. Like you have to talk to them about something and you're afraid. And you're like, you kind of go to like your parent and you're like unsure what they're going to say. And you treat your spouse that way. That could be a really good place to see where you're at when it comes to your marriage. And when you talk about communicating, if you're slow to like be able to like ask your spouse something silly, because you're afraid that she's going to say no or whatever, like a kid to a parent.
You know what that makes me think of though, because that's very valid, is on the other end, is it because they know they haven't been doing?
You had to go.
You know what I mean?
I'm just yeah.
I don't know any names. All I'm saying, because I think just in general. Like, because this golf conversation is such a common conversation with us. And it used to be such a point of contention because I felt like you would go to escape from our life, our marriage, our home, because at one time it was that, And so how many people are maybe in a situation like that? But now that like you do carry your weight around the household, like I do feel like you're involved, you're a present dad, you're a present husband. And so I feel like you don't come to me afraid of what I'm going to say because I guess as a wife, as a golf wife, okay? A supportive golf wife.
This
which
isn't a golf channel, but
I
it's
haven't
always
always
just an interesting.
What were you here for?
There's so many life lessons.
It's true. I support it because I don't feel like we're lacking anything. I guess is what I would say. I don't look at it as, well, now you're not going to be here to do this, this, and this, or there he goes again, or those kinds of things, you know, because you are a present dad and a present husband. And I feel loved. I feel valued. I feel appreciated. I don't want to say pitch in because that's such a weird phrase in like a family dynamic, but like you're providing for our household. You're not laying around doing nothing and asking permission to go hang out with your buddies, you know?
Right.
Like it's not that kind of a dynamic because you're being the man of the household.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
You know?
I think it's just an interesting perspective. It's kind of like popped in my head and I'm like, oh, interesting. You know, when we talk about healthy rhythms of communication. So when we talk about, because we're talking about like investing into your marriage, and that impacts a lot of stuff. And so you need to, like when you invest into something, like you should know what you're investing into, whether it's, let's just say stocks. Like you research the stock to see like what they're trading and what they're buying from or what kind of contracts they're going to get. And oh, they just landed this contract. This would be a good stock to buy. Well, like it's the same within marriage too. Like you have to like do that deep research. So like, how do you feel? Like, what is when I say like, so like when you say something and you spark of like, you know, like anger or hurt. Well, it's like you need to know why. Like that's a conversation that you need to have. Like you can't just be saying whatever you want. You know, you have to notice your spouse.
Yeah. And pay attention.
Yeah.
I think so much of it's just pay attention to her, pay attention to him. Just know, because then you will notice those things. I think that's something you've always been really good at, and I try to be better at. But you have a gift of observation, and so like you always know my coffee orders, whether it's the hot one or the cold one. Like you know which one I would want either way. You know, like you know which dessert I want on the menu. If we're gonna like share a dessert, like you just kind of know those things about me, which is very sweet because you pay attention. Like you observe, you see how I order, you see what I want, you see. So when it comes time to like surprising me with Starbucks on the way home or something, like you know what drink I would want and how much that just like makes me happy, you know? So just pay attention, invest in them. Like you're saying, get to know like what kind of food do they like? What kind of I think, because it's such an easy way to make someone feel valued and seen and loved is like you pay attention, you care. That you even care what kind of coffee I drink after all these years, you know? It's just, and you should know those things. So
yeah,
it
especially
just
as they change, as you change, as you're growing a business and the business is growing and changing and like, because in different dynamics too of like, now you make more money. So like maybe my likes are different now because we have a little bit more money in the bank account. You know,
have access to more things.
We have access. So you can actually buy me a nice necklace versus before where it's like, I'm cool with just like a Starbucks, you know, like that's because that's what you can afford. But like as you start making, you know, I think that's a big like kind of a turn of events in life too, right? Is like as your business is being more successful and you're making more money, or now you have multiple businesses, or now different like investments have now like popped off, and it's like, okay, well now we have a little bit more money. Like we're not in the apartment anymore. Like when we first started, you know what I mean? Just doing the hamburger helper like food, you know what I mean?
5 nights a week.
5 nights a week. But now we can like
I got so good at making hamburger helper.
Hamburger helper. Like if you can have hamburger helper in multiple ways, like that's
so much sodium.
So much bad stuff. But but so as it changes, as seasons change, then you know. So I think just being mind blown as we went through these marriage conferences year after year and just hearing these speakers, and they usually it's like a topical thing. Each speaker has like on a topic, and they would just like blow your mind of just like, whoa, wow, I'm supposed to be
I never thought of that.
Doing this. Or like I never thought about that. Or like, oh, that's why I do that. Because of something the way my brain got rewired, or I never unpacked my luggage, or just so many great things. I mean, I'm just like, I have like a Rolodex full of, full of those topics that we've heard over the years, and just like, and now put it into practice.
Well, and because I think it depends on where you're at. Obviously, if things are going pretty well, then those kinds of things can just strengthen you and give you some more tools.
What would you say to the couple that says, I don't need to invest in my marriage. We're good. Our marriage is good.
A phrase comes to mind, a quote. How does it go? It's about being anchored. Even a boat, even on a calm, sunny, beautiful day, a boat that's not anchored to the dock will still drift away. And so in how much do we just coast in marriage? Okay. And we never coast anywhere good.
Let her cook.
So our default is same routine, just how it's always been, and ultimately kind of selfishness, like it'll always drift into just me and what I need, unless I'm actively, intentionally pursuing my spouse, investing in planning a date night, like being active about blessing them with, pick up the coffee on the way home, right. Stop at the store and get this special surprise thing. Like those things take purposeful action. And when we just get into default autopilot, we only go backwards. We don't even stay the same. Like we think we stay the same and things are good, so we'll just keep being good if I don't do anything. Well, false, because you're changing. You're both changing. And all of a sudden you know them less than you knew them yesterday because they changed since last night. They've changed.
Right.
And so if I'm not intentionally pursuing them, then we're drifting away from each other and we don't even realize it. And so the investment comes into, and just like we've talked about, just the seasons of life, the circumstances of life events, friends that come and go, maybe you moved, kids are growing up, whatever, job changes, whatever the dynamics are, those things affect us. And if we don't acknowledge them and grow together through those situations, then they are going to pull us apart. Because we just drift, and we don't drift anywhere good. You follow the current, and where's the current going? The current is going to divorce. If you look at the stats of 2025, it used to be 50-50 and it's not anymore, which is crazy. Like the chances of a marriage ending in divorce.
Right.
And that's crazy. So if you're in a season where you feel like you're hearing, like I feel like that right now, I'm all these headlines, random reels on Instagram, friends, like stories, so-and-so got divorced. Did you hear so-and-so got divorced? Did you hear people are getting divorced because of the economy, because of these things, because of those things? It's like, you have to be intentional to stay together. It's no longer the default to stay in the majority of being married. Like we're no longer the majority, unfortunately, which is crazy. And so like just how many blended families you meet now, and we are one, we are one too, but just how many people, how many stories do you hear if we were married 35 years and we just got divorced?
Yeah.
Like, why now? You made it through so much of your life together. Why are we throwing that away now?
Right.
And obviously every story is unique, and I don't know, all the nuances of the situation. And disclaimer that we should always say is if it's abusive or those kinds of things, like absolutely you need to be safe and prioritize like protect your safety,
right.
your children's safety. Like that's never. But I guess for us, like since that first conversation about divorce in the apartment, like you mentioning that, we have never used that word since. And it has never been a threat in a heated debate, a little argument. It's never been a threat. It's never been something we've considered, even in really rocky moments since then. It hasn't been a consideration because I think just kind of back to that season of when things were really hard and what God was showing me, I think the greatest gift that he gave me in our like valley seasons, lowest of lows, was he gave me a compassion for you. And as he showed me my own brokenness, he showed me I could see yours, like I could see the flaws that I saw, but I saw where they came from. And it went all the way back to like childhood, family events, like all that kind of stuff. And he gave me this, like, I think just like a God compassion for you in your brokenness that he wanted to restore and like bring new life, and heal those things. And so I think from that place of compassion, that's just been such a healthy perspective that I've, like, by the grace of God, tried to keep in any hard season that we've had, was put myself in your shoes. What are you carrying right now? What does the weight of this moment feel like for you? Because and this, speaking from the wife, I'm not the one that, like, you have a God-given burden to carry the household, like to provide for your household,
right,
no matter what the economy is, no matter how many kids we have, no matter what all these dynamics and circumstances look like. Like, it's your role to provide for our household. And I can't imagine carrying the weight of that with a newborn at home, with all the dynamics that are going on. And so having compassion for you and then knowing my place to come alongside and be your helper and be your supporter and encourage you and try to take as much of that load off as I can, rather than pile stuff on top of you. Because I watched you crumble under that when I would just throw more at you. When I was nagging, when I was complaining, when I was whining, when I was harping on you about stuff, like, that was adding more weight to you rather than helping to lift that off. And I just think that's it takes a constant investing in your marriage and intentionally trying to be the best I can be in the marriage. There's so much finger pointing. And if you look at divorce, it's always, what needs do I have that they're not meeting? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And that's a generalization. Again, there's a lot of nuances to different situations. But in so many situations I've heard of.
But also, where did it start too?
Yeah, it's, he doesn't serve me. He doesn't meet my needs anymore. I don't love him like I used to. And it's all back to me. And so when we take our eyes off of how can I serve the other person, it becomes, what am I missing? What am I lacking? What am I not getting? So I guess I'll go find someone else who will meet those things. Well, you actually won't. Like, it's your own flaws, your own neediness, and that's going to show up in your next relationship too, because you didn't change yourself.
Right.
So it's sad. Like, it's heartbreaking, because couples that could be thriving just kind of stop investing in it, and you just don't drift anywhere healthy.
So you would say that you should.
What was the question?
So you say that you should invest into your marriage.
Yes.
Whether you think you're doing good or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say that you just answered that really, very, very well.
It's in the seasons when things are good that you get stronger to then brace the storm that you don't see coming. Because there are storms coming. And if you are as strong as you can be before heading into the storm,
right,
then it's not going to knock you out like it would if you were weak and you didn't know it, Like, I was even thinking this of, like, we live on Oregon. We don't live on the coast, but we live in Oregon, an hour from the coast. We were talking with our kids yesterday about, like, tsunamis, because there's tsunami zones when you're over there. And it's like, you see a tsunami coming, so you have warning. It's like, okay, or even a hurricane, I guess would be the other one. Tsunami, you just flee, right? Like, you just drive to high ground. But, like, in the hurricane section of the country, like, you hear that one's forming. Well, what do? You board up the windows, you move all the stuff inside, you put the grill in the garage, like, you bring all the toys in, like, you hunker down and get ready for the storm. Well, like, you saw that coming and you got to be prepared for it. But what about the storms that you didn't see coming? What if you don't have a meteorologist in your marriage to say, hey, get ready, something big is coming. And then when something hard comes, you don't realize, like, all these cracks in the foundation of your marriage. And now you guys are crumbling. And so stay strong, like, get as strong as you can when things are great. So that when the unexpected doctor's report comes, or that big bill, or that family report, like, whatever's going on, it doesn't take you out. So that when things are good is exactly when you should be investing in it, before the crisis hits.
Say it again.
Don't wait for the crisis.
Don't wait for the crisis.
Don't. Yeah. Do you think it's important to invest in your marriage when things are good?
Yeah. Like, why would you not?
Yeah.
I reference it to, I've said it before and I'll continue to say it again. The greatest shooters in the NBA, the greatest golfers on the PGA Tour, the greatest football players in the NFL, they all have multiple coaches, like nutrition, and then, like, whatever it is, like, from a shooting coach to a quarterback's coach. Like, there's a reason why they're continuing to work on themselves daily like every single day they're working on themselves. And these are like the top tier athletes in the world, but they don't take they don't take a rest day. They don't relax. Oh, I'm good now. We just won the championship. We're good. Like, no, they're back in it. Like, maybe like they go on the little cruise and little parade, but like they're back in that gym. They're back on the field. They're back in lifting weights. They're still on that nutrition like plan. They got people cooking for them. Like, because why? Because they tasted success and now they want it again. Well, how did they get there? Well, they knew how they get there. So it's like, whether you're in this season and you're thriving and you think you're thriving, it's like, well, how did you guys get there? Well, it's like the communication, the date nights, the late nights, just laughing and just like hanging out with each other, loving each other. Well, like those nights have to continue on. Like those date nights have to keep on going. You can't. When was your last date night? Oh man, shoot, yeah, it's been a bit, huh? Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, even if well, we're okay right now. Like, we'll get one in the month. That we got one planned or what? Like, no, that's not. It's not okay. Like, you have to be so intentional when it comes to your marriage. Like, no matter what, it needs to be number one, because your life can crumble very quickly when your marriage is falling apart, and it comes back to your business. You struggle that business, or those investments. You're not seeing things right because like you're all foggy, and you're not seeing things clear because at home is kind of rocky and shaky.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Just kicking it to me.
Kicking it to you. So when you say invest in your marriage, what does that look like? Like, what are some practical ways that people can invest in their marriage?
Well, for what we did and what people can do, like one thing that we did was we were intentional about going away and going to like a marriage conference where it was like focused, like 100% marriage, just me and you. Spend a couple extra days in that city, hang out, no kids. I mean, that's a great way, because like you're listening to, like when we listen to podcasts or we listen to different things on YouTube or different influencers, like we do it because we're interested in like stocks, or we're listening to that person because they're really good at leadership or they're really good in business. So having somebody that is good in marriage, like not, I'm going to say like a marriage counselor, but just like really good in marriage. That's a good thing to be like just continuing to like kind of meditate on as well,
Yeah.
And even if like you're you're in those seasons, like I think joining like communities of married people that are going in the same direction as you, I think that's a really big one for us, is like surrounding ourselves with people that are doing business big, but also like care about their marriage. So being in like a community with that, so it's like we all kind of get it, we all get what we value marriage, we value growing a successful business. Yeah, I would say starting there.
Yeah, like-minded people. And I'd ask yourself, who do you have in your closest circle, and what are their marriages that you would look up to? Or are they all encouraging you to ditch your husband, or like, because I think this is a big one. This is one that like a thing that we learned at a marriage conference, was not to vent about your spouse to your friends.
Oh, right.
And then if you have a situation where you're like seeking wisdom from a friend about a situation, that's different. Someone that's like a mentor to you,
Mm-hmm.
but that they should always be people that support your marriage and aren't going to be like, yeah, you need to ditch him. Or yeah, like if it's your friend who's been divorced 3 times, like don't go talk to them.
Probably not the best
for marriage advice. Yeah. And so like making sure that that you have couples, hopefully more than one, in your life that have a marriage you want to model yours after. They've been married for decades, or they've been through a lot of things and they're still together, and spending time with them. Like, hey, can we go get coffee? Go on a double date or something like that. And just be, when you have something, that you're sharing it with people that's like a trusted source that you can have a conversation with. They're not going to go blast it to everybody, and they're not going to encourage you to get divorced or to move on or to date around or whatever, like they should be people that actually like marriage and support yours. And that you're not just gossiping with people like your coworkers about it or jumping in, because those conversations are so toxic, but they can also be so tempting. If you're in a circle of people at work and they're all bashing their husband, it can be tempting to be like, oh yeah, isn't that the worst? And just like try to chime in. And so like purpose to be the one that's not doing that, and don't be in the conversation, walk away, go talk to other people,
I think that was one thing that we never really did, but we definitely now are like 100% concrete on this, is like no spouse bashing.
Yeah.
I think is so toxic. Even if it's joking or whatever, we just don't allow that. And then even when people get around us, like, and they want to do it, like I'm a little bit more bolder than she is, so I might call them out, just because there's no need for that. There's no need to put your spouse down, because it doesn't bring any good when you just bring them down, whether you think you're joking or not. Like, joking still has like a little bit of like serious or like real things attached to that.
Yeah. And you get more of what you say.
Right.
So like realizing how much power your words have. And if you talk about how dumb he is or how lazy he is or he won't ever do this, it's like you're going to get more of that. So is that what you want? Because if you want him to change, let's speak life into him. Yeah. Speak life over him, whether he's standing right there next to you or not. Not, the whole ball and chain and all those, let me go ask the old lady. That makes my skin crawl. I can't do it. I don't love it. But also investing, like there's another one. I think books, there's so many good books out there, audiobooks. Listen to the same one. We share an Audible account, which is cool. So like we'll listen to the same. Yeah. I mean, you mess up my timing. We mess up each other's timing.
Yeah, that's not too convenient.
And I like paper books anyway. So sometimes I'll read the paper, you do the digital or something. But like having something in common a lot of it is we'll share podcasts, even little reels, little clips on Instagram, DMing them back and forth and stuff. But like just these shared moments of connection and, oh, that's a really cool idea. That's a really fun date night. We should do that. And those kinds of, even like Bible reading, like our little Bible app has Bible reading plans, and we've done shared ones together where you read the little devotional and then it has the little scriptures and you can check it and you can even add your notes. I remember we did that one once, which was cool. Just like points of connection, that's investing in your marriage. Date nights are investing in your marriage, making them regular, non-negotiable. Date nights, do different things. Don't just go to the movies and zone out, but actually have a conversation with each other. Look up from your phone and make eye contact.
Yeah, no phones.
That's a big one. Remember what color eyes she has, You can
never forget your eyes.
Another one. Yeah, all those things. But investing in your marriage is important.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed this conversation. I hope that it shined some light or maybe showed you some areas that you could work on or improve in to invest into your marriage so that you guys are stronger and better than ever. Hey, maybe you don't know which way to go, where to start. Send us a comment and we can send you some great information that we personally use, or find us on Instagram and send us a DM and we can get you connected with us for a discovery call to see how we could possibly help you as well. Also, quick note, if you are struggling with date night, like you don't know where to go, like your city, like you don't know where to go, guess what? We have created a actual Chat GPT prompt for you just to put into your city, and you can pick anything you want, whether it's a fancy date night, a travel, an adventure, and it literally gives you exactly tailored for your city what to do. It's absolutely incredible. So send us a comment if you want that as well. We'll see you next time.